He wasn't just Bishop from Aliens. He wasn't just the grim-faced hunter from Pumpkinhead. Lance Henriksen was something else, one of the great unsung faces of genre cinema. But somewhere between cult icon and Hollywood outsider, he quietly slipped from the spotlight. So, what the hell happened to Lance Henriksen? Let's fade to black. Lance Henriksen's story is about survival first and stardom second. Born in 1940 in Manhattan, his early life was shaped by instability. His parents divorced when he was 2, his mother was a struggling model and waitress. His father, a Norwegian merchant sailor, disappeared from the picture. Lance left home at just 12 years old, and he didn't just drop out of school, he dropped out of everything. For years he was illiterate. He slept on rooftops, worked odd jobs, and eventually found work painting theatre sets. The Navy became his ticket to something different. He enlisted at 17 and served for 3 years. It wasn't until his early 30s that acting even entered the frame. He wasn't trained, polished, or connected. In fact, he bluffed his way into the business, handing casting directors blank resumes and letting his raw presence do the talking. He would later joke, "I started acting because I didn't know how to do anything else." But what he had was authenticity, that lined face, that fractured voice, that bruised humanity, and people noticed. Henriksen's earliest work was modest, background roles in off-Broadway plays, minor characters in crime dramas. But everything changed when he crossed paths with a young, ambitious director named James Cameron. He was cast in Piranha 2: The Spawning, a notorious disaster of a film, but one that started a creative bond. From there came The Terminator, where he played a LAPD detective, and then Aliens. As Bishop, the synthetic with a conscience, Henriksen brought something few actors could. In a film full of chaos, gunfire, and screaming, his performance was quiet, thoughtful, and strangely tender. He took a role that could have been robotic and made it soulful. Then came Near Dark, Catherine Bigelow's blood-soaked vampire western. As Jesse Hooker, Henriksen was terrifying, charismatic, lethal. You couldn't look away from him, and that became a pattern. Henriksen didn't just act, he made every role uncomfortable and magnetic. His performances during this era were raw, gritty, and stylized, exactly the kind of work that goes overlooked in awards season but lives forever in cult movie fandom. By the late 80s and early 90s, Lance Henriksen had quietly become a genre icon. In Pumpkinhead, he gave one of the most emotionally rich performances in horror. As Ed Harley, a grieving father who summons a demon for revenge, Henriksen managed to play both a monster and a man unraveling. The film was low budget, sure, but his performance was anything but. Unlike most character actors, he wasn't content playing the same role twice. He bounced between horror, sci-fi, war dramas, westerns, and voice work. He became the go-to guy for when you need something a little darker, a little more real. Then came Millennium. From 1996 to 1999, Henriksen starred in Chris Carter's brooding follow-up to The X-Files. As Frank Black, a former FBI profiler haunted by visions of evil, he was mesmerizing. Very subdued, complex. It wasn't just another crime procedural, it was apocalyptic, meditative, and ahead of its time. Millennium earned Henriksen a Golden Globe nomination, and for many fans it remains one of the most criminally underrated shows of the 90s. But despite its critical praise, it never quite broke through in the mainstream, and after 3 seasons, it quietly ended. So, what the hell happened? Like many actors who built a career in genre film, Henriksen was both respected and typecast. His unique look and intensity made him unforgettable, but also difficult to place in traditional leading man roles. By the early 2000s, Hollywood had shifted. The mid-budget horror and sci-fi films that sustained actors like Henriksen were being replaced by CGI blockbusters and franchise-driven IP, so Henriksen did what he always did. He worked. A lot. He appeared in a flood of direct-to-DVD films, some decent, some truly awful, low-budget thrillers, sci-fi originals, zombie flicks, demon flicks, alien flicks, you name it, he did it. But here's the thing, he never phoned it in. Even in bargain bin horror films, Henriksen gave real performances. He brought integrity, weight, and that familiar wounded edge, even when the movie didn't deserve it. And that's rare. That's what separates a true actor from a paycheck collector. He even found a niche in voice acting, leading his deep, gravelly tone to video games like Mass Effect 3, Call of Duty, and the animated Tarzan TV series. The audiences were different, but the work ethic was the same. In recent years, Henriksen has embraced his role as a kind of elder statesman of weird cinema. He popped up in The Quick and the Dead, Jennifer's Body, and The Legend of Korra. He played himself, sort of, in Bring Me the Head of Lance Henriksen, a surreal, genre-blurring meta-project that paid tribute to his legacy. But in 2020, he delivered one of the most powerful performances in his career in Falling, Viggo Mortensen's directorial debut. As a deeply flawed, bitter, homophobic father battling dementia, Henriksen gave everything. The role was ugly, honest, and unforgiving. It reminded critics and fans that Lance Henriksen wasn't just a cult actor, he was a real actor, and always had been. Off-screen, Henriksen is a sculptor, a painter, an introspective, often philosophical man who speaks candidly about his chaotic past, his regrets, and his gratitude for finding something that gave his life purpose. He published a memoir, Not Bad for a Human, a fitting title for someone who played so many monsters, and still came out the other side grounded. So what the hell happened to Lance Henriksen? Honestly, nothing tragic. He didn't disappear, he didn't self-destruct. He just kept working in the places Hollywood didn't always look. He never chased the spotlight, he chased characters, and in doing so he gave us a career filled with unforgettable moments, many of which flew under the radar, but all of which mattered to someone. Lance Henriksen is the definition of a working actor. He brought legitimacy to illegitimate films, humanity to the inhuman, and a kind of quiet grace to roles that might have just been monsters in the hands of someone else. He may never have become a household name, but in the world of sci-fi, horror, and cult cinema, he is without question royalty. And maybe that's the best kind of fame there is. I hope you enjoyed watching this today, and if so, please like and comment and subscribe, as it makes a huge difference to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.